Good morning, day 3 of my mini cut. So today I woke up at 84.7 kg, right? So I think most of you guys will be expecting another weight drop. Even myself, who has been doing for about 12 years now, I still thought that I could drop a bit more, right? But you have to know that your weight fluctuates greatly, and then your body is always trying its best to maintain homeostasis, which is balance lah. So you will see a lot of stagnation, but this doesn't mean you're not losing fat, right? So the key is really just to persist and then follow through the plan if you are doing it correctly. So today I will be discussing about the importance of macronutrients and how by having the right macronutrients rich we'll be able to maximize fat loss while losing weight. So but right now I need to go and train a client and myself first, and then I will come back and talk to you guys more about this. See you. He always trying his best. Top of the bowl, leave my gloves. Let's go get cold. Home EMF, this is how hard. No one made it easy. You ain't live quiet. Thank God I'm breathing. You gotta go now. One life, live it right now. One life, live it. Yeah. You know what? They got away. So yesterday we already discussed how many calories you need to be consuming in order to achieve a weight loss, right? So for myself, it was 2,400 calories. So if I were to just follow this amount every day, I will be losing weight gradually. Okay, so today I want to talk about how to actually lose fat, right? So because unless you are an athlete trying to compete in a certain competition that requires you to be at a certain amount of weight, right? We all want to lose fat, right? Even if the scale doesn't change, right? But if you lose fat, you will still look better. Okay, so fat loss is what we are trying to be after, right? So how to actually make sure we are losing fat? out of the weight that we will be losing, right, is to actually focus on the macronutrients, right? So there are three main macronutrients, right? Your carbs, your fats, and your protein, right? So I'm sure everybody know that protein is the most important, right? But actually all macronutrients comes together to ensure that you are losing fat effectively, right? And most important also to maintain muscle, right? Because if you want to achieve a body that looks good, right? Not only do you need to lose away the fat, you need to try your best to maintain as much muscle as possible. So today I will be showing you guys how I actually set up my macronutrients to achieve this. Okay, so firstly, let's talk about protein, right? So for protein, a very simple rule that I follow is about 1 gram per pound, right? Unless you are a very overweight individual, okay, then perhaps you can eat a little bit less, right? So one rule of thumb strategy I use for someone who is slightly more overweight is just look at their height in centimeters. And for example, I'm 180 centimeters, right? So the amount of protein I will need to eat is 180 grams. Very simple. So if you are a natural athlete, right, your weight and your height will be very close, unless you are a beginner or you don't have much muscle mass lah. But if you are decently trained, you have a significantly amount of muscle mass, usually it will be quite close. Okay, so for myself, that's what I use lah. Okay, let's see. If I were to eat in terms of 1 gram per pound, it's 186 grams. Okay, so my height is 180, so I'm just eating 180, not 186. Okay, of course I could go higher, 190, but it's not necessary. Okay, I'd rather spare the calories from other macronutrients, which is also equally as important. Okay, because ideally, unless you are a beginner, right, you are likely not going to build any muscle, so we just need to eat enough protein to maintain that muscle. Okay, another reason why you would want to eat more protein is because protein is more filling, right? So if your metabolism is rather slow and you are a big eater, then maybe you want to have a bit more on the protein side, right? Even up to like 1.5 grams per pound is reasonable, because the more protein you consume, it will keep you fuller, so you will be able to complete the whole carb effectively lah. Okay, so let's talk about fats. Okay, so for fats, basic function of fats is just to give your body the hormonal balance, right? So why is this important? It's just your body is always trying to survive, right? So if your hormones are out of whack, right, so the last thing it wants to do is to lose fat. Okay, it will try its best to try to survive. So unlike us, we want to look good, but our body don't really care. You can look super fat or super out of shape, your body will be happy as long as you're surviving lah. Okay, usually a good rule of thumb is 20% of the calories minimum for fats. Okay, so for myself, 2,400 calories times 20%, that is 480 calories that I need to be consuming from fats. Okay, so how to actually find out the amount of grams is by 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. So we take 480 calories, divide by 9. So this is the amount of fats that I will need to be consuming, okay, to make sure that my body have enough fat to maintain the hormonal balance, right? 53 grams. So for my macros, I decide to round it up to 60 grams, just so it's easy to track. Okay, you can even go higher on the fats, okay, because why fats may be quite good is a lot of tasty things contains a lot of fat, right? So 60 grams is just nice, where I can still maximize the amount of carbs I want and then still get enough for this hormonal balance, right? So the remainder of the calories will be in carbs. Okay, my personal approach when it comes to cutting and maintaining the most amount of muscle, sure, protein is important, but carbohydrates is also equally important, or sometimes even more important, especially if you are doing a lot of weight training, right? Because carbohydrates is the main source of energy for high intensity training, which is like your weights lah. Okay, so for me, I like to maximize the amount of carbs I consume in when it comes to dieting. Okay, because this allows me to maintain the most amount of muscle, because carbohydrates is quite muscle sparing. Okay, because it spikes your insulin. Okay, let's talk about how much, right? So how much is basically how after you deduct all your protein and then your fats. Those are you take it as like those are the taxes that you need to pay. Okay, then you are left with carbohydrates. So the equation will be 240. Okay, so 60 grams of fat. Okay, that's my fat, right? So 540 calories. I minus from my 2400, so I'm left with 1860 calories. Okay, so 1860 calories. 1 gram of carbs and 1 gram of protein is the same, 4 calories per gram. So we divide by 4. Okay, so we are left with 465 grams. This is the budget that we are left with in terms to allocate to protein and carbs, right? So we need to minus off the 180 grams from protein. So we are left with 285. So this is how I actually got my macros: 285 grams of carbs, 60 grams of fat, and 180 grams of protein. So usually when it comes to carbohydrates, right, a lot of people think that when you eat carbs, then you will not be able to lose weight, right? It is true because when you cut out carbs, okay, all your glycogen will be being depleted, right? So for those who have tried like keto diet and stuff, when you hop on the keto diet, the first few days or weeks, you will be losing a lot of weight because all this weight is from water, but it may not necessarily be fat, because ultimately fat loss is created from the caloric deficit lah. Okay, so keto is definitely effective, right? But sometimes people that perform better on higher carbs. Okay, like for myself, I like the carbs energy because I'm training to look good. Okay, so when if I were to do keto, then my muscles will be very flat. So when it comes to the look, having as much carbs as possible will give your muscles a bit of fullness, right? And that coupled with being lean, it will give you a nice look lah. Okay, compared to low carbs, and then you will be flat. Okay, unless you are super lean, then you will start to look good. If not, like I said, personal preference, carbs as high as possible. Okay, but if you want to have more fats so that you can be you can include more tasty food in your diet, that is also another approach, right? So I hope this video is helpful for you to discover how to actually set up your macronutrients effectively. Also protein, 1 gram per pound, right? Fats, 20% of your caloric intake, the rest carbohydrates. So by having as much carbs as possible, sufficient protein, and then you train hard enough in the gym, these 3 factors will make sure that you retain as much muscle as possible. And then with the caloric deficit, it also will put you to maximize the fat loss. Okay, so that's it for me. I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 3.